Rome through the start chicane. Dylan Hughes keeping it clean. Let's see what we got here on initiation. Rome out front, Dylan in the chase position. Around that front clip. Pretty straightforward, nothing dynamic as far as the flick and the rate to angle. In that second outer zone, you see Rome fill it. Dylan with really good proximity now, transitioning now out of that keyhole. Oh, look at this. Rome pulling away with great angle. Dylan Hughes coming through with a smoke signal and back up the hill. Ryan, let's say GT Radial, top 32. Through the start chicane. Rome, I have a feeling he's going to apply the pressure here. He knows, I would say, maybe the needle going Rome's way a little bit, but I know Dylan wants it. He is hungry. Now coming up the hill, look at him pulling away. Massive angle there from Hughes. Woo! Look at that, fills all of that second outside zone. Really well done. I'd say a little bit more aggressive and, as I said earlier, spirited. Solid execution on that touch and go. Now transitioning back up the hill. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Nitto tires. Yeah. Here we go. The one more time battle here. Rome Charpentier, Dylan Hughes. Let's see what you got, Rome. Dylan Hughes. See if he can step up. He got gapped there on that first battle. Rome brings it around. Low and slow. That is the tempo right now. Let's see if they turn it up. Rome throwing some gangster angle at it. And look at Dylan going deeper on this second run. Rome with some awesome angle. A great lead run to follow here. It looks like Dylan past that touch and go. Just a quick little flick of the wrist and back up the hill, Ryan.
I think there was a slight.
Yes, you do. All right, Dylan Hughes out front. Rome Charpentier in the chase position. Here comes D. Hughes. That royal purple, O'Reilly Auto Parts, BMW initiated using all the track, getting out to those gator strips. They do bite, kids. All right, now pass up the hill. Dylan Hughes wiggling his way up top in that 2J powered BMW. And Dylan Hughes in the keyhole. Rome gains that proximity. Really sticking it to him. Is it enough? Lead versus lead, chase versus chase, Ryan. We got two winners already in the grade 8 as the top 16, Royal Purple, the Royal Purple Synthetic Experts official engine oil of Formula Drift. Coming down the pipe. Here we go. Vaughn Gibbs Jr. initiates. Look at the angle from Vaughn. Dylan just kind of a slow roller into it, and he is bathing in that Nitto tire smoke. Here goes Vaughn. First outside zone. Ticking the box. The second outside zone. Woo! Dylan Hughes lunges forward. He takes a shallower line. He compromises that line in order to get that proximity. And now on that touch and go, Vaughn doesn't get all the way in, but both of them do on that last inside clip. Great job. Keeps it calm and collected and doesn't overcook it and burn the dinner. That's when he comes out on top. So Dylan Hughes, he's got the clean air. How's Vaughn getting Jr.? Gonna chase him down. Dylan Hughes initiates, uses all the track, gets out to the dust, and starts that GT radial burnout. Oh, and there it is. Vaughn Gibbs Jr. comes in shallow, tightens it up, out to that second outside zone, gets out there, hits it and quits it. But Vaughn Gibbs Jr., look at this. He is sweating him. The chrome nose in the back end of that BMW, quickly getting out of that keyhole. And look at this. Dylan Hughes bringing it up and around that final front. He'll be sitting, waiting to see if Joshua Reynolds is able to run. Right now, Dylan Hughes, Travis Reeder, send it. Dylan Hughes initiates. Again, two great friends, but now bitter enemies. Come on, let's go. Dylan Hughes high on the bank. Travis Reeder right there, holding it down. Now transition over the jump. You see the attitude of the vehicles. Taking out that front clip, that second inside clip. And Travis Reeder all over D. Hughes. That royal purple O'Reilly Auto Parts. Regardless of what libation you partake in, there are laws. Here we go, Travis Reeder. And Dylan Hughes. Reeder initiates, nice and high on the bank. Reeder throwing it down. Dylan Hughes right there. Look at these guys, they're adorable. Oh man, we're best of friends, but not right now. As Reeder pulling away from Dylan Hughes, gets into the crease, gets into the groove. Dylan Hughes falling back a little bit. That Link Engine Management BMW on GT Radio series on Permatex's YouTube page. Here we go. Dylan Hughes out front, Jonathan Aaron giving chase. Jonathan Aaron coming into that outside zone. Oh man, rain is coming down. It is thick. Now coming into that second outside zone. Like I said, Rain-X being utilized on that vehicle for sure. Through that second outside zone. Making it look good there, D. Hugh and Jonathan Aaron. tracking him down. That first inside clip is absolutely brutal. It is very slick right there. Now in that last outside zone, Dylan Hughes brings it across the finish line. Where you see a lot of the slowing down. And here goes Aaron through the start chicane. Headlights are on, and now coming into that first outside zone. Both of them filling that outside zone. And into the second. Both are right in the line. You can see Aaron just get a little deeper there. Ooh, almost some contact, but avoiding it. Nice job by Naren and hammering down both these guys in that final outside zone. Dylan a little bit timid. Oh, and Naren spins out across the finish line. I just look over at you.
This is the DJ way.
Yeah, he looks sick, bro. He looks really cool. He looks so cool. Frederick Osmo, Dylan Hughes coming down. Both these guys driving phenomenal in the wet, and we talked about that gearing being changed in that Toyota Supra of Frederick Osmo, but Dylan Hughes with the drying out conditions. And, oh man, are we seeing? No, it looks like just some spritz up in the air, a little spritz as Frederick Osmo comes through. Ooh, some little correction as he straight kind of beelines it towards that front clip. And now coming into that final outside zone, Osmo and Hughes. Let's take a look at this again. Just still thinking about how you're wearing it. So here we go with Dylan Hughes out front. You see Freddie jump the light, which is allowed. We got a clean start. Who's moving on? Oh, our second to last battle, little hippie shake, little shimmy shimmy shake there into that first outer zone. Now into the second. Oh, look at Osmo lunging up. Dylan Hughes getting all of it, throwing it all the way in. Look at that tap in the cones. Oh man, Osmo applying the pressure. Wow, yeah, great job by both the drivers so far. Let's see how they handle this. Into that final outer zone goes Dylan Hughes all the way out there, just on the edge of the course, taking out that finish line cone. Fast Freddy's Pizza. We saw the video. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Toyota USA on social media. Frederick Osmo, that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra. Dylan Hughes, that Permatex GT Radial BMW into that first outside zone. Works it into the second. You can see Frederick going a little deeper than Dylan Hughes, but he still does mimic that angle. Look at the proximity from Dylan Hughes. Here comes Frederick Osmo on that inside clip. Both of them just wrapping around it nice and clean. Very tidy. Clinical by both the drivers. Now into that final outside zone. Proximity. Hughes out front. Permatex. Fast orange BMW. He's on GT Radials. Let's see how he goes initiating. Really gets all the way out there, actually just exceeds that track line just a little bit. Now Dylan Hughes, look at that angle from him, but Frederick Osmo jumps right to the side of him. That's exactly what he needed to do, and look at Dylan gripping. Oh, comes out of drift a little bit, has a small little bobble and a mistake. He could definitely make up for it here in this last outside zone using all of the track. Thank you, Ryan Lantain, for elaborating on that outcome. Congratulations, Matt Field does continue on. Right now, Dylan Hughes, Ken Shiroguchi. Dylan Hughes, that, oh boy. And Ken Gushi, Ryan, just another scenario. No. As Dylan Hughes continues through the course, Ken Gushi, I just have to imagine frustration is filling that cockpit as Dylan Hughes, that Permatex, Fast Orange Rain-X BMW, crosses the finish line. The
veteran of the sport, when you have mechanicals and you can't go out there. I mean, it's the same thing that's been going on with Chris this year.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it's just frustrating for the team and for everybody.
All right, regardless, you know Ken Gushi wants to put on a show, and he could step up, and right now he is rising to the occasion. So Dylan Hughes really does need to apply that pressure, but he does have the advantage, as you said, Ryan. Now going to that second outside zone. Dylan Hughes doesn't get all the way out there, but like I said, he might be a little timid here as he knows what just transpired. If he keeps it where the rubber meets the road, it looks like Dylan Hughes will be getting the victory and advancing on 16, and that does look like it. Illuminating. Once extinguished, you are good to go. There we go, Dylan Hughes in that first outside zone. Had an opportunity to have him up here in the booth and take a different perspective. Look at Aaron. Slides right up to the side of Dylan Hughes. Here comes Hughes. Now let's see how he handles transition. This has been a real big issue with all the drivers. Looks like All right, so as Dylan Hughes slides into that second outside zone, Naren comes in. You see a quick little checkup, but then they both slingshot. So you can recall the Naren Hughes battle. We'll probably play the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay as Naren goes into that first outside zone. Great angle from Naren. Remember, he lost his supercharger belt, but it seems to be all super there. Now coming into that second outside zone, both of them very fluid. Look at Dylan Hughes really applying the pressure. And Naren into that last and final outside zone. And you can see Dylan. These two gentlemen are points leader and the Dozer trying to take him down. Matt Field initiates, Dylan Hughes right there. Backs off a little bit, has to make a correction. But Matt Field, great posture there, and Dylan Hughes a major correction. Coming off that bank. Now out of that second outside zone into the third outside zone. Looks like Dylan has found his sweet spot. And Matt Field, fresh air out front. What do you got? The Permatex BMW initiates. And Matt Field right there. Dylan, great angle. Solid initiation. Oh, and we got a tap. Let's see how he handles that. Manages it, no problem. Into that second outside zone. Taking that love tap. Look at that, continuing on. A great effort from both these guys. An effort and a delivery. Stand and deliver. And bring it across that finish line. Definitely, you know, watching him in qualifying yesterday, you know, he did make it into the first session, one and done. So how much practice did he get? Here we go. Dylan Hughes throws in a massive angle there. Alec Robbins struggling a little bit to get to the side of him. He now does. You can see, take some angle out of it to compromise for the proximity, but we'd like to see him emulating and mimicking that angle as Dylan Hughes goes very deep into the outside zone too. And that does allow Alec Robbins to gain proximity. So just starting to zero down on those RPMs and slowing it down to the MPH. Excuse me, not on the RPMs, but just on the end. We kind of took away the speed guns years ago, but the speed and the friction of this track, it's an exciting track. Because again, you start at high speeds, it gets sketchy. So here we go, Alec Robbins out front of Facetto, Nissan 350Z from Minnesota. Chasing him down, Dylan Hughes, so he's taking that line. So look at where the rear tires are. Dylan is mimicking that line. Now coming to the power alley, Alec Robbins looking a lot more efficient with the cleaner air up front. Dylan Hughes doesn't get out to that the third outside zone. Let's see how he handles it here. Put an exclamation point on the run. Dylan goes deep, as does Alec Robbins, obviously out front. And there we go. Again, he's going for it here. Here we go, as Jonathan Hurst will lead Dylan Hughes, the Dozer, from here in the Pacific Northwest. He is going to give him chase. Jonathan Hurst initiates. Hopefully oil cap stays on here. Looks like it is. He has thrown it down. And looks like you can see mid-high to the bank. And now into that second outside zone. Oh, big angle from Hurst. That got really wonky. Look at the angle from Hurst. Now coming around in that final outside zone. All right, actually intended to do that, but he actually salvaged that. He definitely could have parked it. Dylan was like, whoop, hold on, put on the brakes. All right, here we go. So Dylan Hughes will now lead the Dozer, and Jonathan Hurst will be given chase. Look at that, Dylan Hughes. Jonathan Hurst, now it seems like he's a little lower, kind of alternating positions from what went down. Oh, and Hurst goes hard to the wall. Dylan Hughes continues on through the course. Let's make sure he is okay, as Dylan does need to continue on through the course, and he does that. So this is another scenario. Did Dylan? Hey, you guys having fun up there? Stomp your feet, make some noise. Michael Essa, Dylan Hughes. First battle of the Grade 8. Here goes Michael Essa. Out of the gate, big initiation there. And Travis Reeder, so what am I talking about? Dylan Hughes. Dylan Hughes going, getting after it. Michael Essa really high on the bank. Your number one qualifier, D. Hughes, the Dozer going. Oh, wow! Barely avoiding some contact as Michael Essa and Reeder. Gosh dang it, Dylan Hughes. What? They're the same person. They're the same person, Dylan Hughes and Reeder. And Michael Essa giving chase. That fast orange Permatex BMW. Throwing it down, oh, and Michael Essa makes contact. Oh, and Essa makes a large correction. But Dylan Hughes, the Dozer, takes it. The Dozer gets a taste of his own medicine. Now they transition Dylan Hughes could advance into the final four. Whoa, large slowing there by the Dozer. And now bringing it on in and on home. Make some noise. Woo! Touring items typed as the official lighting of Formula Drift. Here we go. Send it! Dylan Hughes, Chelsea to Nova, our first battle of the final four. That Permatex fast and orange, 2J BMW out front. Chelsea to Nova chase him down the gold nose in his rearview mirror. Now coming down into that power rally. Let's see how they handle Chelsea to Nova right there, transitioning down with that third outside zone. DeNova slides right into the door, but not making contact in that final outside zone. DeNova digs deep. He's a gold digger, baby. Spoiler here. And you know who's rooting for him? Matt Field. Here we go. Chelsea to Nova, BC Racing Ditto Tire, Ford Performance, Mustang RTR, Spec 5. Chelsea to Nova initiates into the bank. Dylan Hughes drops back quite a bit. He's going to need to gain some ground from what we've seen previously from these drivers. A little bit of a lower line there from the Dozer. Now into that third outside zone goes Chelsea to Nova. Dylan Hughes not maxing and mirroring that angle of DeNova. And Dylan Hughes brings it on through. Leave the start line. Let's see what Dylan Hughes has got. Saw him last night at Denny's. We'll see if those J-Paws or the moons over Miami helps him a little bit. As Dylan Hughes throws it in that first outside zone, in that second outside zone, Jonathan Hurst into formation, as you call it, Brian, just jumping into that pocket. Dylan Hughes gets all the way out to that third outside zone, transitioning into that final. And both of them get out there. Dylan just goes slightly deeper, but Jonathan Hurst, no slouch. Second half of this battle. Hurst and Hughes. Jonathan Hurst initiates the first outside zone. So does Dylan. The Dozer coming to that second outside zone. Pretty similar line to what they had in the alternate positions. Now coming into this final outside zone. Who's going to flex on him? Jonathan Hurst just barely digs into that. Two very different builds. And here we go. Off from that start chicane. Sorensen initiates. Filling all of that outside zone one. And Dylan Hughes has to back off a little bit, has to correct his line, it seems like. Now into this third and outside zone. Approaching the final outside zone. Sorensen puts it right in there, has to leave. Dylan mimics his line fast. On the Bonneville Salt Flats next week. So be sure to follow and check out all the, oh wow, look at this. Dylan Hughes goes into that first outside zone, into the second. Like they were talking about in that battle against Jonathan Hurst, very fluid, filling all of the zones precisely is Dylan. I mean, that would have been a really high quality. We are right back at it. About to throw down, and here we go. Dylan Hughes out front, initiating in that first outside zone. That 2JZ powered BMW approaching that second outside zone. Big angle from him, nice job. Look at Odie's composure, a great job keeping that proximity and angle, mimicking right into that final outside zone. There goes Dylan Hughes, bringing it all the way out there. You can barely see it with the amount of rubber that's will lead. Here comes Odie Bakshis. The frenemies are still in it. Here we go. Odie Bakshis initiates Dylan Hughes right there. See if he allows him enough room to transition. Yes, he does. Now coming into that front clip. Past that front inside clip into the third outside zone. How are they going to handle the last and final outside zone? Both of them bringing it on in. Well done. Giving chase, Ryan Turk qualifying 9th, Dylan Hughes qualifying 10th. Ryan Turk in that Gum Out Toyota Racing Corolla hatchback on Nitto tires. Dylan Hughes, that Royal Purple O'Reilly's Auto Parts GT Radial BMW going right to the side of him. Let's see how they transition. Rock solid in that second outside zone, now approaching the inside clip. Oh wow, looks like, look at that, into that third outside zone. Want to watch the instant replay from second to third on the outside zone and filling all that outside zone for Ryan. You see the battle damage on the side of Ryan Turk's vehicle, but these two gliders ready to send it. Here we go. Dylan Hughes out front, that Royal Purple O'Reilly Auto Parts BMW. Look at that, Dylan Hughes gets a little dirt on the back end of that BMW, he lunges forward, but there we go. Ryan Turk now comes back to the side of that BMW into that third outside zone and exiting out. Ryan Turk hangs it out to dry and into that final outside zone. Ryan. the 2JZ Supra compared to the 2JZ BMW. So we got 4 JZs out on track. Holla, ho! As the Royal Purple BMW comes into that touch and go, gets all the way out there. Simon Olsen about middle of the track. Dylan Hughes a little bit late on the transition under the bridge. Simon Olsen does get that proximity, but not as deep as the dozer, Dylan Hughes. Like I said, Dylan is just on a tear. You got to think, Ryan. I walked up, like I said, at practice. He got in tussle with the wall. His back hatch was off to the side. His wing goes over to the side. So he smashed it up pretty good. But right now, he's going for the gusto here on the streets of Long Beach. His first time out here, this iconic track. Dylan Hughes. He needs to make his presence felt. Simon Olsen doesn't get all the way out the touch go. Definitely fills that first outside zone. He gets to the zone and the second outside zone. Dylan Hughes, great proximity here. Looks like he does mimic his line, which could have been deeper by Simon, but St. Louis, almost 200 miles per hour. Right now, he's going flat out against Castro. And Castro's going flat out. Watch this. I think Castro's going to do something real big here, but Dylan's going to try to get his way. The Royal Purple, O'Reilly Auto Parts BMW, going all the way out to the touch and go. Castro coming up a bit short here. Now under the bridge, Castro taking a very shallow line, unfortunately, as dozer Dylan Hughes fills that second outside zone, approaching that final front clip. Castro whips it in and center punches that front clip. One battle in, and it's already one more time. Nobody moving on into the grade 8. That is the Link ECU grade 8. Here we go. Castro out front. Dylan Hughes in chase position. Castro initiates that Toyota Racing Toyota 86. There's no Metrodon Mobile 1. Yes, sir. There it is. Backing it in. Pin that bumper. Dylan Hughes right there on the door. The back end of Castro going deep. Now past that second touch and go, approaching that final inner clip. Oh! Jonathan, that is Dylan Hughes and Dan Burkett. Dylan Hughes coming down the pipe. Big angle there from Dylan Hughes. Dan Burkett throws it in. You see some wavering. Dylan Hughes stays high. That Royal Purple BMW really hanging it out there. Now transitioning past that inside clip, coming into that second outside zone. Both of them dialing in. Dylan Hughes, great poise on that second outside zone. Dan Burkett taking a tighter line. Flirting with disaster coming that last outside zone. Great job by Burkett, but I'll tell you what, Dylan Hughes. And here we go, Burkett and Hughes. Second run of this battle. Burkett initiates high on the bank. Dylan Hughes, failure to launch as Burkett, massive angle, comes at him and taps that wall, stays in it. Dylan Hughes having a tough time on the bank. How will he manage in that second outside zone? Oh, and let's take a look at that different angle there. Was that